Welcome back, everybody, to TartleCast. This is this episode,
Shiny Lips episode.
the shiny lips episode. Jason, it's good. We got so much coconut oil on our coffee.
Yeah, it's what made our lips shiny.
Yeah, I prefer coconut oil because the only thing that when you like thermally process it, cook with it, it doesn't change its chemical structure.
That's what I've heard. Up to a certain, does it? What
No,
if you
it's
get
like-
high heat on it?
No, it's good stuff. Never changes.
Yeah, I use it all the
That's the
time.
best part about coconut. You know, but that's a side coconut point. There was an article that MIT put out. It was a tech privacy article on the kind of like the fair value of the data market, and I thought this was actually a fantastic article. And I really wanted to touch on it. And there's some good quotes in here. So if you mind,
Whoever wrote this, I'd love to have them on the podcast.
yeah, because we
need to reach out to them.
This is truly like a fabulously written episode.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it's called fair value ? Fixing the data economy, which I love the word fixing.
Fixing.
Yeah.
And when they talk about fixing the data economy, the idea is that there's no fair payment or compensation for the people that support the system. The data economy is supported by people that generate data.
Right.
Okay, great. So why is it that only the select few, again, are the ones that are the only ones benefiting, right? It's like another Occupy Wall Street situation, but gone data. Was that guy the Occupy Wall Street guy?
Yeah, Tim Pool.
Yeah, Tim Pool, right? So if Tim Pool was into data, this is what he would be talking about. And it's not the fact that it's about, rioting. It's just about there should be transparency and a placement of fair value on the people that are generating that data, and they should be compensated for the value they're creating in that system.
Yes.
And they had some interesting points.
Yeah, how the article starts off is the data economy is facing a social reckoning, says leading voices in industry, government, and academia. And I like the two questions it starts off because, to me, questions are very important. It says, but what went wrong? That's a beautiful question.
Well, that's a great thing.
And then how can we fix it? But we need to know the first question, it snowballs the second one.
Yeah.
And so they talk about when they get into it is the inhumane working conditions, the creation of unions, labor laws, foundations of political parties.
It's the development. So it's like the development from the Industrial Revolution to like where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
But like what went wrong?
Right.
Again, we started with the approach of how do we make things efficient, right? How do we make it economically beneficial? And so when that was applied to the tech industry, no one ever thought, oh, yeah, how is this? How are they offering this to me for free? Like, what is that? Why didn't Google start off in the first place with just charging people? They figured, we can just make it look pseudo free, but pass the cost off to advertisers and businesses. And so what happened was where we went wrong is that companies found that they could continue to run this black box approach and falsely offer people things for free, but what the user didn't realize on the back end, because nobody wanted to go through the terms and conditions or understand how the consent worked in the whole approach or what was even going on with their data. They were just more interested in I just want to use this tool. And when you think about free tools on the internet, and I know they earmarked this, is like Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that everybody uses and it's free.
Right.
That's like how open source the internet should be.
Yeah, and then you can.
And then they ask for a donation, right? And that's beneficial. And what did Wikipedia do? It allows people to research,
right,
to learn, to evolve themselves. But what happens is we've taken a de-evolutive approach with where we went wrong with big tech, and that's the fact that as we did everything black box and falsely told people that they can receive this product or service for free, but they didn't realize how much they were giving up on the back end. So much, sovereignty and anonymity that they had that was passed out the door. And then
quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
Here's the privacy agreement. Scroll down, hit I agree.
Yeah, be done with it, right? And then go on to be using the system. But on the back end, 23andMe is selling all your genetic data to GlaxoSmithKline.
Right.
They made a boatload of cash and you didn't get a penny for it. It's your genetic information.
In fact, you paid them.
Let's think about this. You paid 23andMe to buy one of their kits for $99 or $130 when it first came out. They swab your mouth.
Right.
You sent over them. So they've collected $130. Now they're going to process this. And they're going to have this massive genomic sequencing data set on a huge populace of people that have used their product. And then they're going to go back and they're going to take all that data and sell it to a biopharmaceutical company.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to give me a discount on my 23andMe? Was it free? Apart from the insights you're giving me, you just went back and you double dipped off of who I am and all truly
Literally who I am.
My most personal information.
Right.
You sold it off. But that if you look at that as like a metaphor for the approach that the technology industry has taken, that's where we've gone wrong. It's that black box double dipping, not telling people what you're doing and just trying to look at people as a number and take as much value for just the people who run the company and not for the people who truly support it, which are its users.
Yes, 100%. And I in this article, it went into when innovations lead to disaster. And then it says much about the societal context, and it uses Chernobyl nuclear disaster and the U.S. opioid crisis.
Yeah. So just like thinking about Chernobyl, right? Or nuclear technology. Nuclear technology is great. It's very powerful. It allows us to do a lot of things
Clean,
frankly, quite efficiently.
Right.
The only thing that's unclean about it is the waste. Like, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Do you bury it in the ground here in New Mexico? But the thing is that, most good things in life are a double-edged sword. But we've only been blindly looking at it as just a single-edged sword and assuming that, nothing is happening on the other side. Well, with Chernobyl, you have the possibility or the risk that you do have some sort of nuclear leak, right? And then people die and it destroys an area for a large period of time, right? Or if you do create a new tool that affords people anonymity, well, it's like, well, how do you prevent bad actors from coming into the system and misusing it?
Yes, that's the big one. Yeah.
And that's, it's a lot of the trouble you see with things like, Silk Road. And that's why the feds are always trying to shut it down.
Yeah, and I like how they talked about the opioid crisis, and then they explained, of course, it killed millions, and then became an incredibly addictive drug, and then it, fueled the black market of pills, and and I've known.
I don't want to say that the CIA funds it.
No. But I know where you're getting at there.
What does the Department of Justice do with all that money that they seize? I don't know.
Where does it go?
Where does it go?
But they were talking about the fractures and the problems of modern America, especially with the lobbyists for the pharmaceutical industry, and then our fragmented health system.
Yeah, our system is fragmented. It's fragmented because it's not about quality of care. It's about economics. Health is turned into economics. It's not turned into quality of life.
Yes.
That's just the perspective. And that sort of perspective is what's hurting us, that fair value, like the value of life, it's not treated fairly. And then for the people that support all these technological systems and the growth that we're seeing here in the United States and around the world, no one's valuing the individual for supporting that growth. They're just saying, oh, look at this company. Look how fantastic they are. They're the champions. No, they're truly not. They wouldn't exist if it wasn't for people using their systems.
Yeah, and I think also when you look at this digital technology revolution, and they speak to this, and I think it's really interesting. They call it that it's right now, it's facing its own societal reckoning. And as its benefits are eclipsed by the harmful practices and business models it has unleashed.
Yeah.
And I like the word unleashed. That was a perfect word.
Well, unleashed is a good thing because there's very little regulation on a lot of this stuff. And so it's easy for a lot of these companies to take, rather, somewhat unethical approaches.
Right.
And they're doing a lot more harm than good. But I don't know,
they talk about this. Insurance companies harnesses data to exclude certain customers unfairly.
Okay. So, and that's a tough call, right? Because the more information an underwriter gets, the better they can go into their own predictive, matrices to say that the person might perish at this point.
Right.
So, it's like people want to toe the line. It's like, well, how much information do I want to share before it starts harming me? And so I guess just over time, insurance companies will have to evolve as they receive total or perfect information. It's not so much about excluding people, but now accurately placing them in a better statistical bucket than you had before.
The health insurance is the same exact as everything medical. Health insurance is looking at how do we litigate risk, and how do we make the most profit.
That's all it looks at. It's not health insurance is not like, okay, how is it that we get people to pay as little money as possible to us, and do whatever we can to increase their quality of care and their quality of life.
Yeah. And
When's the last time you heard an insurance company say that? We want you to pay as little as possible.
And I love that the health insurance companies now are buying they're buying the pharmaceutical rights to things. They're buying these pharmaceutical companies are doing this. They're buying the middlemen out and the insurance when they go to HR departments and negotiate. So when you own the whole tree.
Yeah, if I own the tree,
and then you can charge each one.
I'm the guy making the pills. I'm the guy sending the pills to CVS Pharmacy.
Yep.
And then I'm the one that says you can get the prescription.
Yes, and I'm the one that is going to sell the health insurance to the company, and then I'm not only going to be the underwriter of the health insurance. I'm going to also have a middleman in there that goes in there, and he's going to get a cut.
Well, that's all this this double dipping that's going on, right? If you don't treat people as human beings, and if you are not clear and transparent with them without trying to be naturally convoluted or confusing in your terms and conditions, then you start to move over to the fair value. Mm-hmm. But right now, we've been doing all these, frankly, ugly black box practices, and it hasn't truly come back to say that the internet has become a thing of value. Mm-hmm. It became a thing of abuse.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
People are like, just look at the NSA.
Well, I think abuse is a perfect example in the article where it talks about reselling data without permission.
Yeah, but they've been reselling it without permission all the time. It was like 23andMe.
Think about that. So what if somebody walks to your house, takes your car,
and then they just
sells it to somebody else?
Buddy,
and then you walk outside.
It was in my driveway. Yes. What are you doing selling my car?
You would say somebody stole my car.
Yeah, you would say someone stole my car. Or why is my car getting repossessed? Well, you didn't pay your bills.
Right.
Oh, so I never truly owned it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I understood that because I signed that contract and that was very clear. I didn't pay my bills. I don't own this anymore.
Right.
Right. But you're the one that generated the data. You own it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you think about it, it's even more of it's even more of theft.
It's like a weird digital theft that's going on.
Yes, yeah. And then they talked about dishing out criminal sentencing and predicting student grades. But when you get into, and we've talked about this before, when you get into machine learning and you get into race and ethnicity,
there's already
get really sketchy.
A lot of biases. We talked about this in a couple of our episodes with the algorithms.
Yes,
and that can put people in a box they don't belong in.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love to see an algorithm try and put me in a box.
Yes, well, think about it. So, if 90% of the prisons in the United States are full with Black Americans, and we can talk about the injustice of that. Yeah. And that'll piss me off, so I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, you got minor criminal offenses and stuff
weed,
like that. Yeah,
guys in prison for selling weed. Let's not even go there. But I'm just telling you, if you put that into machine learning and said 90% of
the thing's going to be like, okay, I know exactly who to target.
Any person that has black skin, is a criminal.
Yeah, and so all the facial recognition software that's on the streets and all over the place, you even see them with cameras in London. They're going to be targeting people that they shouldn't be targeting.
Yes. Unfairly,
totally unfairly, totally unjustly.
Or you have issues with, and I love the higher learning trying to adapt to data, but where you have Asian students coming over from abroad and coming here, and then they're like, well, what do we do? Our schools, 90% of our schools would be full of Asian students.
Correct.
So how do we do this fairly, where we can bring people in from all? So I think we're at this crossroads and this tipping point of. Are we going to continue down the road of where data is going to be all about efficiency, profits,
profiteering?
Like we've done in the past, and we've turned anything good, we've soured it and made it. It's become ripe, and instead, I had an avocado I left in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it was in there for a month, and I pull it out, and it's all shriveled up and nasty and rotten, and you can poke your thumb through it.
What we find is that
disgusting.
Capitalism and competition tend to sour really nice things.
Yes.
They take life out of things that truly would work well. Wikipedia, as an example, again, is not this big capitalistic enterprise. It's a bunch of people coming together on the internet to contribute towards knowledge.
Yes.
And there's no cost involved.
I love that. Yeah.
And that is a fantastic model for how things should be used. That's why the open source community says that, if the internet, should be free, so should all the software on it. People shouldn't be limited by their creativity and what they can use.
Yeah, when we get into the article, it talks about whistleblowers, economists, historians, anthropologists, and they're calling for reform. And so I kind of want to take a proactive approach right now, because we've been going, just slamming everything and being, kind of negative with it. And I like how the article started off that way, to realize,
yeah, you gotta shake people up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, look at the common themes. Like, the same thing happened in the Industrial Revolution, and now it's happening now with our data.
So Paul Romer, this is great. He was a former chief economist of the World Bank and winner of the Nobel Prize for Economics.
Yeah.
He said, I don't think anything has come out of the internet revolution that was actually a net positive for society, except maybe Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Except, he's saying, out of all the trillions of data packets that have been put out there, isn't there like, I forgot what they said. It's like 9 million videos uploaded every second or something on YouTube.
Freaking crazy.
I mean, when you start seeing and how many posts are being, it's absolutely nuts. And he's saying, the only thing I can think of is Wikipedia. This is a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Yeah, but that is a net positive, because he realizes the value of education in a free open source tool.
Yes.
The internet was designed to be free and open source. I know that DARPA had originally worked on this for like a defense thing, but now when you open it up to like the general public, don't use it as a system to track people or abuse the information they're creating in it. Do it to help elevate us collectively as society.
Dude, I guarantee you, if you did a study on this, I would bet my life on this.
Your life.
I would bet my life.
I'd have to put you down.
Yes, you could put me down with my 44 Magnum or something.
Yeah.
Boy,
Excuse
I gotta
me.
put you down.
I have to go find a farmer. Can I borrow this weapon for a minute? I got to put him down, and he lost a bet.
So whenever you think about people in learning, I guarantee you, majority of the learning that's going on now, I would say from 35 and under, is from YouTube, watching somebody do something.
Yeah.
And then copying that being done.
We're good at doing
on
that.
YouTube.
Whether it's something that's truly beneficial or not. I mean, there's a lot of that learning that happens. And I know that like Khan Academy took that approach.
Yes.
That is a fantastic thing. That's online school, free for everybody.
Yes, that's
Teach
amazing.
about economics, health, science, chemistry, physics, whatever, you name it.
Right.
It's all there.
And I know MIT and a couple others have put like just their
MIT
classes
has all
out.
their open coursework.
Yes.
You can find online. The benefit, the net positive benefit beyond Wikipedia, that that economist was talking about from the World Bank, is that it's the ability to share.
Yes.
And the double-edged sword of sharing is tracking, right? That's, it's if you're going to share, things are going to be transparent. They're going to know where it's coming from. So, just share better.
Yes. And I think be proactive with your data. Understand. Take the time to read the privacy statement. You will be shocked.
You'd be shocked how much stuff you don't want to use.
And the consent for this, and the consent for that, and the consent for this.
Consent,
and you just go and click, I agree.
Should be clear, right? Do you want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Oh, okay. And it's like, why is it that I couldn't go and use a system, some sort of online system? And if I say I don't want it used that way, why does it prevent me totally from using their system?
Mm-hmm.
It should prevent the people who created the system from doing what I said not to do.
Consent has to be clear in everything in your life. What if we said, well, I'm not sure if you come into work today, you're going to get COVID or not, because we don't really test people here and we don't check temperatures or nothing. But I would really like for you to come into work now.
I proposed to Amanda. What if she was like, I'm not really sure I consent to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be devastated,
Yeah, when you propose.
Yeah.
You're on a mountain, you're sitting there.
I'm unsure. And then you're always sitting around like wondering like, well, why is she unsure?
Yes.
Or like, and then you have to play that into data. It's like, well, what's going on with the data?
Mm-hmm.
What is all this stuff why is this necessary? What is actually happening in the background?
Why is there 9 pages for me to sign up for this website that I agree to?
That's exactly
without
right.
reading.
Like what? Like just look at all the fake outrage that's going on between Apple and Facebook right now. It's ridiculous. You guys drove yourselves into the corner. What do you expect? And now you're bickering at one another from a problem you both created?
Yeah.
And then you're trying to look like the good guy coming out on top?
And then you
both screwed up.
Then you get politics involved, and these guys don't even know how to cut on a computer.
No, I know. That's exactly.
And they're yelling at them.
That's exactly
and bringing
right.
them up to Capitol Hill. So it's like, I say this, the people need to go back to these companies and say, you broke this.
Yeah.
You better
You need to
fix
it.
this.
And not for your benefit, but for us.
Yes, as humanity.
Because
we get that you want to serve us ads. I'm fine with that.
I got
you
it.
need to make money. You're a company, but you have taken from us, pillaged from the village.
Pillage from the village of data. The data village.
Yes, the data
pillage
village.
the data village.
You've come in here, took us over. We've been subjective to you.
Yeah.
But no longer is this going to happen.
No. And, you know, and honestly, you shouldn't have designed it like that in the first place. And that's why if you want to do something that's fair, egalitarian, humanitarian, high ethical, high moral value, and make sure that you are evolving yourself and your wallet, you go to tartle.co.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Start getting paid.
Yeah. Share your data, earn money, change your world.
Yep.
It's a 3-step process.
It's that simple. I love it.
Love it. Thanks, everybody.